What are we here to discuss exactly today?
So we're here to talk about the management of public lands. A huge proportion of Nevada is in public hands, and across the country, we have to do a better job of protecting U.S. lands and oceans. We're setting a goal of 30% protection by the year 2030, which would be a major improvement. And it's so important, not just for today, but for the future, that we incorporate in our climate and environmental solutions responsible stewardship of America's public lands and waters.
Is there more land either in this state or somewhere else in the country specifically you're looking to protect?
We certainly need to look at expansions of protections, both here and in other parts of the country, but it's also about making sure we do a good job of protecting what we've already got. We've seen so many encroachments for short-term gain, often at the expense of environmental protection. There is a better way to grow our economy and to grow into the future while responsibly managing the lands that are held in stewardship of the American people for generations.
So we're here in Nevada, where they hold a caucus. Are you worried at all that they're going to have similar issues that we saw in Iowa?
Well, what we've seen is an extraordinary amount of early voting and the party responding to that. This is an exceptionally well-organized party. They do have a big challenge on their hands, but I have very high expectations that they'll be able to manage this caucus process well.
And if there's someone who's still trying to make up their mind before they walk into a high school or hotel tomorrow to caucus, what's your message to them?
This is our chance. It is our only chance to defeat Donald Trump. And as of right now, we could be waking up just a few days from now where our only options left are Bernie Sanders and Mike Bloomberg. Most Americans don't see where they fit in that picture. We have an opportunity to build a majority that agrees not just on who we're against with Donald Trump, but what we're for. Elevating wages, protecting the climate, ensuring corporations pay their fair share. We have an opportunity now, a historic one, to build an American life defined by belonging. And that's what my campaign is about.
If certain candidates don't reach viability here tomorrow, should they be thinking about packing up and going home?
Well, it's not my place to tell any other campaign what to do. Certainly for us, we consider Nevada to be a very important state on the road ahead through South Carolina and on into Super Tuesday. And also, we got to wake up to the reality that we could be just a week and a half away from Bernie Sanders having a dominating lead in this process. And even though he's got a very strong base of support, that's clearly not what most Democrats want. We've got to get our act together as a party.
Does getting the act together possibly mean finding a way to winnow the field, though, down to, instead of 8 or whatever it is, 4 or 5?
Well, of course, I believe the best approach would be for folks to consolidate and support our campaign because it's got the right vision to not only win the nomination, but to win against Donald Trump in November. We only get one shot at this, and we are going to be in so much trouble as a country if the only options we're presenting people appear to be, somebody who wants to buy the party out and somebody who wants to burn it down.
There's been a little news this afternoon. I don't know if you've seen this yet or not. The former mayor, Bloomberg, saying now his company has identified 3 women who would have had NDAs regarding something he would have said, and that if they would like to be released from them, they can now contact his company and be released. Is this enough to satisfy those potentially that have concerns about what may or may not be shielded by those NDAs?
Well, it's hard to believe that's going to be enough to satisfy all of the concerns that have been raised, not just about the work environment, but about the overall environment in the city of New York with issues like the way that he doubled down on the singling out of minorities for stop and frisk. Look, do we really want to spend the next few months leading up to the election arguing over which billionaire created a worse environment for women? I think we can do a lot better, and I think part of that is nominating an actual Democrat for the Democratic nomination.
The other bit of news, and you may not have seen this yet because I think it happened as you were walking up the stairs, but apparently U.S. intelligence officials have now told Senator Sanders that the Russians are actively trying to bolster his campaign in a bid to influence the election. He kind of alluded to this on the debate stage the other night when he was suggesting that some of these bots or the Bernie bros may actually be fueled by the Russians. 2 things out of that. Your response, and have you or your campaign been contacted by U.S. intelligence officials about any foreign interference?
I've not had any notification of that kind. What I will say is we need to be really, really concerned about a repeated attempt to interfere in our elections. We know that Russia wants chaos here in the U.S. They believe that they can achieve that by getting Donald Trump reelected, and I'm not surprised to see that they would seek to interfere in our Democratic primary process, too.
After tomorrow, this campaign goes to South Carolina, but then, of course, as you said, 14 other states. How does your strategy, your schedule, your momentum change? You're one of the few that has the money now to really be able to do this multi-state operation.
Well, we're pleased with the organization we've built. We could use a lot more support. We set an ambitious goal of raising another $13 million because that's what we're going to need to be competitive through Super Tuesday, and we're urging everybody to go to PeteForAmerica.com and help if they believe in this vision. That is the lifeblood of our campaign. And at the same time, we have a very strong organization that has now also cut its teeth in the first 2 states. We're putting that organization to work here in Nevada. We got volunteers. I was just at a caucus kickoff where we got some fired up people, along with organizers, reaching out and getting out the vote. Then it's on to South Carolina. Both are opportunities to demonstrate our support in more racially diverse states. Super Tuesday is just a different phase of things because now we really are nationwide and will be for the rest of this campaign. Super Tuesday could also be decisive. And again, I don't think most Democrats want to wake up on Wednesday morning after Super Tuesday, where between them, Mike Bloomberg and Bernie Sanders have built an insurmountable advantage in this race.
So you see them as that's it. It's Sanders, Bloomberg are the 2 barriers to your entry or to your winning the nomination.
And in particular, Bernie Sanders. He is the front runner right now by many measures. I'm the only candidate who's beaten him at all, and that was by the slimmest of margins in the delegate count in Iowa. We need to ask ourselves as a party whether we want that to be how we compete against Donald Trump or whether there's a better way. I'm offering a better way.
All right, Mr. Mayor, thank you as always. Good to see you.